by terrorists in New York City. Not one of us has forgot that day or where or what we were doing at that precise time. Not one of us. Today, we and tens of thousands of towns and cities in the United States of America are gathering to honor those who died and those who assisted in the tragedy. Thank you for being here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
American Legion Post 4, Rumford, Maine. Tricia Thurston.
A new generation has arrived. The infants, toddlers, and young children of 9/11 are now adults. Some lost parents on that day. Others lost siblings and friends. Some have served in the military or became first responders as a tribute to those who were lost. Much like those who came of age as bombs were dropped at Pearl Harbor, the 9/11 generation did not seek to grow up during war. Evil came to America and Americans responded. 20 years for many is a long time, but the feelings that most Americans experienced on that Tuesday morning in September are still remembered by those old enough to have understood the significance of 4 airlines piercing through the heart of our homeland. Shock, sorrow, anger. Strong emotions that would quickly turn to resolve. This was a criminal act, and the terrorists behind it must pay. On September 20th, 2001, President George W. Bush told the American people, "Our war on terror begins with Al-Qaeda, but it does not end there." 17 days later, the United States and its allies launched Operation Enduring Freedom to take down terrorists and topple the regime of Afghanistan, which enabled them. In 2011, Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden would meet his fate in Pakistan, courtesy of the Navy SEALs. Many of his cohorts, those most responsible for 9/11, would be killed on battlefields and detained at Guantanamo Bay. The American Legion was a strong supporter of the global war on terrorism and remains a staunch advocate for its fighters and family members of those who served. However, the nation's largest veterans organization is also aware of the enormous toll that 20 years of war and open-ended authorizations for the use of military force have had on service members and their family. Ending forever wars does not mean ending America's love and admiration for those who fought them or remembering the heroes and victims of 9/11. It means preventing future terrorist attacks by correcting the most important failure cited by the official 9/11 Commission, the failure of imagination. Never again should Americans underestimate the depravity of militant terrorist organizations. Never again should we allow transportation and other infrastructures be so easily exploited by those who wish us harm. And never again should our nations question whether such an attack on this country would be met with overwhelming response. 9/11 ushered in a new level of patriotism. Sales of American flags spiked as the stars and stripes were displayed on vehicles, outside of homes and businesses everywhere. Many Americans still wear flag lapel pins. Funds were created to assist first responders and the children who lost their lives there. The American Legion soon established its Legacy Scholarship Fund to provide educational opportunities for children of military members who died or were seriously disabled during serving in the global war on terrorism.
In a Pennsylvania battlefield, just 90 miles where so many Americans were murdered on 9/11, President Lincoln once said, The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. Just like in Gettysburg, the field of Shanksville is hollowed ground. It is where Flight 93 was brought down to earth, not by terrorists, but by those bravely resisting the evil intent. Its ground became sacred shortly after Todd Beamer's immortal words, "Let's roll," because the abbreviated Gettysburg Address of the War on Terrorism. Deborah Burlingame, an American patriot whose brother was killed in the attack on the Pentagon, wrote eloquently in the American Legion magazine, "The flag spoke for us where we were bereft with words. It was our comfort and our rallying cry. America, America, God shed his grace on thee." And so we put them everywhere, on office buildings and storefronts, on cars and kids' bikes. The flag was sewn anew onto the uniforms of Major League Baseball players and emergency room nurses. It greeted us and lifted our spirits when we needed it most, appearing in improbable places like on highway overpasses. That faded, dirty flag of I-95 pierces my heart. Where have all the flags of September 11th gone? It is up to us to answer that question. We see our flag and patriotism make their traditional comebacks on Memorial Day, the 4th of July, and Veterans Day. We experience brief moments of unity following horrific terrorist attacks, such as what occurred at the Boston Marathon or at the Pulse nightclub. We have been inspired by the service of healthcare workers, volunteers, and first responders throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet those moments seem to be overshadowed by violence in our communities, vitriolic politics, and a questioning of America's role as a beacon of hope and freedom. What occurred on 9/11 was indeed tragic, but the legacy of those lost on that day need not be so. The nearly 3,000 men and women and children who died that day were targeted for being an American. Richard Santos was a national commander of the American Legion on September 11, 2001. Shortly after the attacks, he penned a message that resonates 2 decades later. America continues to heal, and it is our responsibility as veterans to tend to the wounds. Some will panic about the future. We must reassure them. Some will weep over a lost family member or friend. We must hold them in their hands. Some will be angry. We must temper their rage. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a legacy that we can all create for the loss of 9/11. Healing, reassurance, and comfort. These qualities run counter to the inhumanity exhibited by a small group of terrorists that day. Combine these traits with a steadfast commitment to prepare and prevent future attacks, and we will truly be honoring all those who are lost. We must never forget. God bless the brave souls of 9/11. God bless America. play Amazing Grace, we will toss a wreath of remembrance into the Androscoggin River to honor the deaths and the heroes of that day 20 years ago.